What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about him and hers health. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So HIMS did have a pretty volatile week. Trump's tax bill really caused a whole new level of volatility, also prompted a couple new analyst ratings, which I will go over. But Friday did close green, 2.45% in the green, 52.88 the low, 55.37 the high. And you did see relatively low volume though, so 23.6 million shares being traded, 47.2 is the average. You did see a certain level of institutions actually buying the dip, so I think a lot of stocks that did get hit because of Trump's tax bill being announced, I think they were kind of recovering on Friday, so that was generally positive, but still lower volume. So it's something to kind of keep in mind. As far as some expectations for this upcoming week, should be a very fun week. You have a lot of Fed speakers throughout the week. You do have a lot of big data as well. So the FOMC minutes is coming out on Wednesday. And the last couple of times that's actually caused the market to kind of move higher, because I think the market generally knows Powell's mentality and what has already kind of happened. Like there's been a lot of speeches, everything for the most part, I think it's on the table. He just waiting for data, and a lot of big data this week could really change the mentality of the Feds. So Thursday you have GDP. That one is going to be a very, very big one. And then on Friday, PCE. So the Feds are going to be really looking at both of those data points. And then of course the market is going to kind of associate that to rate cuts. So we'll kind of have to wait and see how that plays out. But aside from that, a lot of big companies as well unveiling their earnings. NVIDIA. So that one is going to be the big deal that everyone pays attention to for this upcoming week. And so that is Wednesday after hours. And in my opinion, I think that's the only one that could really move the market. A lot of big volatile stocks kind of unveiling their earnings, but I think NVIDIA is going to be the big one that, again, everyone kind of focuses on. So even though they're not in the same business like HIMS and NVIDIA, essentially it's going to be able to move it. So just keep that in mind. Going into this upcoming week, there isn't any fireside chats, nothing like that associated to him. So it is going to be pretty much at the mercy of the broader market. When it comes to shorts did increase 60,000 shares on Friday. 32.85% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 63.96 million shares overall are being shorted. So definitely shorts have been very reactive to HIMS stock price. So this upcoming week, dependent on some of the data points, shorts might actually start to kind of return a little bit. I think logically, of course, unless they are really hell-bent on really bringing HIMS down. But one thing to take note of though, even though it was 60,000 shares that they did increase, that was rather abnormal, because most of the time, a lot of stocks that are heavily shorted, you always see short return leading into a long weekend, because that way they don't have to pay unnecessary closure days and whatever else. So at the end of the day, them still increasing 61,000 was something to kind of take note of. But based on the options for this upcoming week, you do see a consensus, the bulls, for it to be around that 65. So definitely a lot of optimism for a nice recovery. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 50. So something, again, to kind of just be aware of. Options activity, of course, doesn't move the stock price. It just is more of a sentiment. But aside from that, though, looking at the open interest from this past week, there's not going to be any gamma squeeze or any push higher. Very limited amount of in the money options. So looking forward into this upcoming week, you have some strong walls at that $60 and $61 range and potentially above. So you might see some manipulation and shorts wake up during that kind of period if it gets close to that 60. But aside from that, not really much going on for that. As far as this, so with it at 54.83, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. So 53.88 and then 49.23 are going to be strong support levels. 56.76 and then 61.42 are going to be the next strong target / resistance points. And in my opinion, even though HIMS did consolidate a little bit last week, I do feel this upcoming week we will be seeing a little bit higher highs. So I'm not here to say that we might be seeing like all-time highs, but I kind of do agree with a lot of the options that we will be between that R1 and the pivot. So between that 61 and 66 is where I feel like we might land. But Couple of things I do want to share with you. Latest in analyst ratings because of Trump's tax bill and the new bill. So $28 price target, that was a sell by Bank of America. Allen, who has a 60% success rating. You also had a 40 hold. Morgan Stanley. Craig, who has a 55% success rating. And then a $30 sell by Citi. Daniel, who has a 44% success rating. So of course that moved HIMS quite significantly. And I think in general though, HIMS is still not really understood by Wall Street. Wall Street always fails to really jump on board with innovative companies such as HIMS. So I would take a lot of this with a grain of salt, because over the last 3 months, 42.62 is that consensus, representing a 22.27% downside. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Like I said, no fireside chats or anything planned for the stock. And even though it did consolidate, technicals still look very, very strong. So it is currently above all the key moving averages that I like to look at. So the 50, 100, and also 200. One thing to kind of watch for though is that super trend indicator, and that's at 47.92. If for whatever reason it does break below that this week, then you'll have algorithmic trading really working against HIMS, and we've seen that basically breaking below that as it downtrends. So it's really hard to kind of move higher if you have algos really working against the stock itself. So it's very easy to move up. So algos really move HIMS quite significantly. So that's going to be something to really watch for. So 47 and change, or the high 47s, that's going to be another element to really, really watch for. So all in all, like I said, I think big things might be coming, but at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to the data points, and there's a lot of big data points, as well as companies unveiling their earnings. So where do you see things going this week? Do you see it more consolidating even further to kind of the mid to high 40s, or do you see higher highs, or what's your general thoughts on all that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And as well, let me know your viewpoint on my HIMS videos. I know I just started. I think this is my third HIMS video, highly requested. So yeah, if you like the HIMS videos, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and let me know. Then I can definitely continue that, add it to the mix, and every couple days or something. And yeah, with all that, hopefully everyone's having a good long weekend. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. So definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.